yet another edition of the Wander Yuki Cheese Cafe, your one-stop shop on YouTube for everything related to microbrews, cooking, grilling, home renovations, bad jokes, and there's plenty of that to go around, so don't worry about it. You may laugh, you may cry, you may be scratching your head in confusion, and you might sometimes learn something along the way. And if I'm doing my job properly, you're going to feel all of the above. So before we get to the theme of the episode then, I would suggest that you subscribe to the channel once again, because I'm always doing some new recipes and projects around the house, and this will help you keep updated to anything new. So today what I'm going to be doing is a little bit of a pork tenderloin yet again. One of my favorite cuts of pork. And I had done something like this a while back, but what I'm doing is going to be a honey Dijon mustard marinade. This thing's been sitting for enough time in the fridge that I think it's ready to be cooked. My original intention was to do this earlier because I was planning to do some grilling beforehand, but obviously it all depended too on what the weather would have been like. Is it going to rain? Is it going to be sun? Is it going to be thunder showers? Are they going to make a forecast for the next day, but then an hour before you're going to be cooking it, is it suddenly going to piss all over you? You know, you can never predict the weather anymore. Luckily things have been going about the way I planned to. So before we get to that theme, I suppose you're probably thinking to yourself, like, how would you put together the marinade? Well, that's the beauty of it. I may not know time travel, I may not have a DeLorean to do time travel, but we can kind of go back to the past to see how I prepare this beforehand. So let's get to it. So, past version of me from a couple days ago, take it. So, your basic marinade once again, that is once I have my cat out of the way. Come on Felix, you want to come cook with me? So what you would need to do for that is just get yourself a small to medium sized mixing bowl with a tablespoon and maybe one larger tablespoon like this, because once again, just like I did with my trout a little while back, I use this for taking my Dijon mustard just in case, because I don't want to dirty up this thing and keep washing it. So what you're going to do first is going to get your liquid all set up in here. I have my measuring cup, and I'm going to need about a quarter cup of soy sauce. Seems like a significant amount, doesn't it? And I agree, because that is a lot to use for marinades, but it's actually pretty common to use. And don't forget, with your pork, you're going to have a lot of meat hooked in there, so when you disperse this, it's really just going to be a small portion of it. Add that in. Then your next step will be, let's say your Dijon mustard. They ask for about a good 2 tablespoons worth, similar to what I did with my trout, right? So one here, and get this scooped up. 2. There we go. And of course you might need something to help thicken this up, along with the mustard. This is where your oil is going to come into play here to really bind it all together. You just take yourself some basic olive oil and you get yourself about, let's say 3 tablespoons worth. Decent amount, but not going to be overboard. Not as overboard as my oily chicken I did a little while ago. Good stuff, but better in smaller quantities. Oh dear. We're getting to the end of this. Well, I guess I'm going to have to get something new then. Now that that's done, that's one agent added in. And your next thickening agent is going to be sweet honey. Who would be happy? And that is like a good 2 tablespoons of Dijon. What am I saying? 2 tablespoons of honey. Nothing too crazy, just enough to get a good sweetener here and to blend in. Oh. And because this thing was oiled up, that honey did not stick whatsoever. I like it that way. Once again, what am I talking about? I don't know the art of time travel right now. Then, in terms of seasoning to put into here, you would put some rosemary, but maybe a good teaspoon's worth. I don't think I've used the rosemary as much, not since I've done my honey butter pork a while back too. 2 tablespoons get the job done. I don't know, I guess rosemary's kind of underrated in my cooking. If I was to go for other seasonings or spices, I would probably go for parsley, sage, and thyme. Now that's where your money is. And to get the best results, make sure you go pick it at Scarborough Fair. I've heard they have the best stuff there too. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Scarborough Fair, listen on YouTube, and you'll thank me later. That's the joke. 1 teaspoon. I'm just gonna make my life a bit easier. Trying to shake rosemary out of this is a pain in the padded ass. So 1 and 2. Once again. I think I'm missing some ingredients, so I'm gonna go get my other stuff. And we're back. Yeah, I realized I forgot one of my key ingredients. Like, one of the big reasons that I had to go out and do a bit of a shopping, especially with the pouring rain that we had. For the first time in a while, I was actually out of garlic. And that's kind of bad, because I love this stuff. It goes well with all my cooking, and yet if I don't have it, there's a serious problem. So, I got about 4 cloves worth of Spanish garlic here that I'm just mixing up over here. There, looks pretty good. And then what I'm gonna do is just combine it into the bowl right now. And you have practically all of your ingredients, except for a little bit of pepper. You don't have to have an exact amount here. You just take this, do a little grinding to your taste to give it a bit of flavoring, and that's it. Take note too that there's no salt that I have to add into here. Pretty good reason why. I'm using soy sauce after all. This is a low sodium stuff, but even low sodium is still 620 milligrams. You know, that's a pretty significant amount already. Despite the fact that they spread all around my pork, it's still a lot, so you gotta be careful too. Now, right now, this doesn't look very appetizing, I'll admit. So what I'm gonna do is just start mixing it all together so that it starts to thicken, and it should give it a more decent color instead of a splotch of whatever I put in here. Oh yeah, there was an ingredient I found in this recipe that said I could use for another sweetener, which is 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Frankly, I don't think I need the point of that too, because I don't drink much orange juice at home. I'm basically buying that just to use 2 tablespoons worth. It doesn't seem worth it. I'm sure this is just going to be as good. There. Now this is what it looks like now. Beautiful little sauce. Lots of rosemary too. And now, time to administer it to the pork. Yeah, to administer it to the pork, it's simple. You just need to get a pack of pork tenderloin for yourself. Now, if you're getting the right amount, you would probably have 2 tenderloins in your pack. Me, I like to buy these things in bulk. They give me like a good 5 to 6 in a pack. I divide them in 2, freeze them until I need them, and then take them out and defrost them. Except this one still seems to be kind of frozen, so I'm kind of missing one of the crucial steps, which is to take your knife, put a little slit into here. That way, you're going to have maximum absorption of all the marinade. I guess if I could give it a shot. It's I'm not going to give it a crazy cut. I'm just going to give a little bit of a slice within each one. Okay. I'm going to admit, this is my first time in a while slicing up a frozen meat, and it's actually pretty convenient, because look, it cuts through it so easily, like a lot more easy than if it was thawed out. So now that I got that, and don't worry people, I'm going to be cleaning all this. We're going to get to the next step. Time to pour it all in. Delicious stuff. There we go. Beautiful indeed. Next, I'm just going to seal up this bag. Let's see, 95% sealed. Make sure I got no air in here. And I'll finish it up. So, you just have to massage this thing well. Let it mix into the slit over there. And let it sit in the fridge for a little while longer. Then once you're ready to cook it, you just take it out. And, well, under normal circumstances, you would probably cook this in the oven. Here's another tip. You could grease up your pan for the oven, put the tenderloin in, then you pour the sauce on top of it too, and then reuse it. But what I'm doing is I'm just letting this sit to marinate in the fridge, then I'm going to cook it tomorrow. And my biggest hope is that hopefully, the weather's going to hold up well, just well enough that I can actually grill this thing. Because that would be delicious. I know it. If it's kind of bad weather, well, I might play it by ear and see what I do. For all I know, I might be crazy enough that I'm going to be barbecuing in the rain. And it wouldn't be the first time I've done that too. If you remember one of my first episodes. So stay tuned, we'll be right back, and I guess we'll go back to the present time. Wait, back to the present time? So I did learn time travel after all. Interesting. Yep. So, like I said, I couldn't predict if it was going to be raining or not, and there was always that chance that I would be grilling out in the storm yet again. It wouldn't be the first time I've done that. But you know what? An extra day of sitting in the fridge because of other plans that came up, and here's the result. Looks like it's really juicy, very flavorful. I cannot wait to set this thing on fire. So, before I get that done, I'm going to need to get some rations for myself. Note to self too, don't try to get your cat to choose a ration for you. He's not very helpful for it. Plus, he doesn't know a thing or two about beer, so that's a moot point anyways. What the? Thought I heard a noise somewhere. Give me a second. Oh, whoa, whoa. Somebody left me a pint glass here? Oh. Forgot, it was raining. Ugh. One wet ass coming right up. I'm just hate when that happens. Well, at least I have my shades. Not that it's gonna protect me from my ass, but it is what it is, right? Well, good thing I have a glass, but I'm missing something else. You're kidding me. Well, I see that I came across a little transport vessel here. Shoebox. More specifically, a soapbox from some guy named Dave. Kinda wonder what this is, man. Let's find out. A brand new ration to try. The Avant-Garde Brewer. It's a DDH New England IPA. Just my territory. Get this treasure chest out of the way. And a 7%er, so not too bad. Except I have to laugh about this because of the name. This one's called Juste un peu de haze. Like here. Just a little bit of haze, just to give you a translation. I mean, what is this up about? You're gonna get some haze? I kind of get it's hazy because it's a New England IPA, and those are hazy unfiltered, but haze, you can really add that as an ingredient to it. And I'm not talking about haze as a result of other ingredients, like add some literal haze to it. I mean, take a look. It's right here on the label to people. You just sip it out of the box or eat it with a spoon like you're eating ice cream. Or better yet, look at the box. It's almost like a box of baking soda. There you go. You want to get some haze at the grocery store? Just go to the baking aisle, look where the baking soda is, go to the right of it, and voila, you're going to have one of these. Wait, what am I talking about again? I think the stories are sometimes more fun than the beer themselves. But you know what? It's a good excuse to try something else, highlight it, hope I'm amusing some of my loyal followers. Hopefully I can get a few more. Ooh. Yeah, cloudy texture, but the hops kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Soft bricks after the rain, I guess. Quite delicious. I approve of it. Now I really wish I could go buy some haze at the grocery store just like that. Imagine you could add that in any of your ingredients. Yeah, that didn't seem to work out. Can you imagine if you could get some haze at the grocery store? I mean, come on. You can add it to anything else, right? You could add it to your cooking, you could add it to your beverages, you can add it to your whiskey. Make a really cloudy whiskey. That would be awesome. Beautiful haze. Still got some time before I decide to do my fire, so while I'm doing that, I am going to prepare some potato wedges for myself to cook on the grill. Now, you know my love of potatoes because they're pretty basic, very meaty, well, not meaty, but very filling, and you don't even need to dress up too fancily. It just takes simple seasoning and just enough grease, and then you're cooking it well. I've done baked potatoes a lot, but what I'm going to be doing today, like I said, are wedges, but I'm going to do them kind of like fries. So I'm just trying to cut these up into mini matchsticks that kind of look like this. Should be enough. And I'm going to do 2 potatoes so I can give myself leftover for later on. There. Like that. So you do that for all your potatoes, and then once it's all chopped up, you can leave it on a sheet of aluminum foil. I'm probably going to do, yeah. Some of you may think this is overkill for my potatoes, but the truth is, if you're going to be grilling, you're going to have a lot of heat on there. So sometimes you use a thicker piece to wrap it up a bit more so it gives extra protection. Of course, the alternative is you can actually find heavy-duty foil designed for this, specifically for putting in the barbecue. It all depends what your preferences are. Keep going like this until your matchsticks are good. Potatoes going kind of black here. Again, rotten potatoes, worst thing you could ever deal with, so let's get this junk out of the way. Don't worry, worst case, I'm probably just going to mow over it, and then it'll go with the soil, it'll feed it. There, 1 potato's down. I'm going to do that. Then, just to make sure it's well coated, I'm going to put some olive oil in here. In terms of your quantity, God dang it. Come on. It's not opening up enough. Oops. Better not do that. Oh, there. Whew. That was a scary thought. Not being able to access my oil. You could probably do like maybe 1 tablespoon worth of this, but you could be generous with it. It's going to cook really well that way. Do that. Get a bit of salt sprinkled on. And this is a case of me taking some curry powder and putting it on here. In terms of my quantities, I would not be able to tell you for a good reason. I'm just at the point that I'm kind of running low on my spice jar, and I just want to get this emptied out so I can finally refill it with my new batch of curry. That's how it works. And it's the same thing I'm doing with this dried basil. Yeah. I don't know how much I'm going to put. Maybe a teaspoon per roll of aluminum foil. Actually, half a teaspoon is good enough here. And then I got the rest here I could put later on. Let's salt this up a little bit more. And then, of course, the next thing I'm going to do is just add some garlic. Nothing crazy, because I already got plenty of garlic in the pork. But 1 clove, or the equivalent of 1 clove, added to it so it could absorb the flavoring and the juices. Beautiful stuff this garlic is. That is once I open it up. And then I'm just going to mince it, add it in, and then I'll repeat for step 2 here for potato number 2. And no, this one's not a stolen potato. It's good stuff, but stolen potatoes are not worth the risk sometimes. Okay, let's continue this. There we go. Potatoes are all set to go. Let them stew up, and I should probably also get my fire all set up too. Ooh, really good stuff. Ooh, that haze is starting to kind of hit me now. Is it going to be a purple haze like on Jimi Hendrix? Is it going to be something psychedelic? Is it something bubblegum poppy? But I don't know. Something's coming up, man. Getting kind of weird over here.
I've seen your face before, I've known you all my life. And though it's new, your image cuts me like a knife. And now I'm home, and now I'm home, and now I'm home to stay. The neon from your eyes is splashing into mine. They're so familiar in a way I can't define.
Finally approaching 300 degrees. Tricky sometimes. Again, I like to stick with what I know the best when I'm doing my barbecue. I have a very specific lighter that I like to use, and when I can't find it, everything else I've used is somewhat disappointing. You get a good fire sometimes, but it doesn't spread just as much as you wanted it to. I end up needing to use a few more cubes of that, and even some kindling would also try to get it burnt in place. Oh well, once I get to like 350, 400, that's when I can get the grill on, get that heated up, scrape off the grease so it ignites the flame a little bit further, and then I'll be ready to do my potatoes. And then my veggies, of course, which are going to be mushrooms and eggplant once again. Very basic stuff once again, because I love doing that stuff. Then finally the pork. Yep. And then on that note, I'm kind of out of my other ration, so I'm going to do another round, because I do have some room in me even after that 7% fucker. This brewer is called Baldwin, and it's a Lura, an organic Pilsner, only 4.3%. Definitely a good light one. I know I've had this before. And where, you may ask? Well, La Belle là-bas. And if you don't remember that, well, I'm going to put a link right in the top right corner. I did a little quickie when I was over there a little while back, put it on the YouTube channel. And it's a little bistro that's right by my house. Beautiful tartare they got around there. And what I love too is especially the microbrewery section. Or what am I saying? It's the beer section because it's all microbrewery stuff. Usually you go to most bars, it's always going to be like, you're going to have at least Coors Light, Molson X, or Heineken, or, you know, some of the stuff you get everywhere. But them, they only have 4 beers on tap, and the rest is all going to be in cans. But the stuff they carry is all like microbrewers. That's a pretty neat thing. Like, if you want to go for the stuff that you can't get everywhere else, in terms of restaurants, that's highly recommended. And again, this is 4% too, so easy to drink on a day like this. And super tasty as well. In terms of the organic nature of beer, I don't know. I'm still kind of new to this. I cannot tell you what makes it so organic as opposed to standard issue or, I don't know, chemical induced. I just hope it's not as sketchy as some organic food can be. Because, you know, sometimes they'll say it's organic, but it's not really organic. Seems like some companies probably realize that you just have to slap the name organic on the label. You can put the price up by about $5 and get the profit off of it. Bunch of crooks, bunch of mutts. You know, once again trying to profit off of us. There are people who are legitimate. No. Here I am about to go on a rant again on the soapbox. I think that soapbox I got my beer in is starting to kick in. So, let's just enjoy this for a little while longer. Get the grill on, and then voila, time to prepare me potatoes. There we go. So eggplant has been flipped over enough times. It's in storage. Mushrooms are going. Got a little bit of heat left here, like, ooh, good 350. Time to get the pork in. So for pork tenderloin, something like this, I would suggest cooking like maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Because it's a small piece of pork, you don't really have to cook it that long because of its size. And because it's been marinated too, that means it's been stewing in juices, so it's going to cook even quicker too. And that sizzling is the extra oil that I put on here when I was flipping around my mushrooms. Actually, what I think I'll do is use the remaining oil to just grease this up a bit, make my life a little bit easier, just in case this thing sticks to it. So 1 pork tenderloin, 1 big slit over here for when I cut it open, and number 2. Close that up, and then just let it sit for maybe 10 minutes. Flip it once, cook it for another 10 minutes. Or I guess 7.5 minutes, 7.5 minutes if you're doing your pork tenderloin. Because the trick too with this, pork tenderloin, you can have a little bit of pinkness in the center. Just a tad pink, not too pink like it's raw. Because you know, raw pork, it's kind of bad for you. But just a tiny bit of pink while it's still cooked, you're going to be fine with that. It all depends on your personal perspective. Some pink is fine, but some people, no matter what, just do not want to go anywhere near that. They want to have it full cooked or nothing at all. It's all good for everyone. Now, I should probably dump this and disinfect my hands too. Or hand. This is the only one that got infected. Any other wetness that was from here, well, came out of the fridge, it's hot out here, it's just condensation that happens. Such is life. So my original intention was to let this cook for about a good 10 minutes and then flip it, but I'm noticing that I'm getting to 500 degrees here, so let's open this up and give it a flip. So if you look at this, it's starting to get really brown on the top and probably also crisp on the bottom. That's normally your root trick if you ever want to flip meat around. Let's say, for example, you want to flip burgers and it's undercooked, then you're going to just have them fall apart and it's not going to be good for the meat at all. Let it char up on the one side here that's facing towards the heat, but the other side, keep it there for a little while. It's going to solidify, partially cook, and then you'll be fine. That's the trick to this. Potatoes and pork. I feel like I've done this before. Why is this all sounding familiar to me? There's only one way to find out if these potatoes are ready. That's a taste test. On one hand, they're soft and tender. On the other hand, my tongue's burning. My tongue's burning. Okay, I'll admit, that was dumb as fuck. Oh yeah, back in October, except I was doing it in like a basic Dijon oil sauce as opposed to honey mustard sauce, so that's one difference. And the other big difference is that I was kind of possessed by a demon. So like, how did I get to that point? Crazy times indeed. There we go. Pork looks like it's well done now. So I'm just going to give this like maybe a small cut to make sure it's cooked properly. I'm going to slice up into a few pieces, serve my potatoes, serve my veggies, see what else I'm going to be doing, and we'll be right back after these messages. Messages, what am I saying? I don't have sponsors. I don't have a budget for advertising. There we are. So my meal is all set. Cut off a small piece of pork tenderloin, served one of my potatoes, got me some vegetables, and just for added flavor, I'll just add a tiny bit of salt to this. But I think the pièce de résistance is going to be the pork tenderloin. This is the key thing that I want to make sure turned out well. And in terms of my cooking, it didn't turn out too pink, it's a very minor kind of pink. So it's not going to be too undercooked, it's just perfect. Yeah, I'm loving that marinade that I put it in. It really hits the spot. And as for my potatoes, got some garlic, salt, taste a bit of curry, but it's really the basil I put a lot of there. I'm okay with it too. So not bad at all. I'm not going to taste the eggplant or the mushrooms because you see me eat this countless times. No one needs to see that again. Well, it's getting kind of cloudy right now, so I think I'm just going to try to enjoy what I can out here before Mother Nature takes a giant piss all over us and kind of craps on my parade. At least I think that's what the expression goes like. So, thanks for watching another edition of the Wandering Yuki Cheese Cafe. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button below, leave a like, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any suggestions for the future episodes, and above all else, keep spreading the love, tenderness, and the bad jokes. Everybody loves cheese in their lives.